This is a Pretenser from Awards Watch, and I'm so thrilled to be speaking with Bridget Everett about Somebody Somewhere. How are you, Bridget?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good, good. I imagine you're feeling pretty good right now. The show just got renewed for season three.
Well, I do feel great. I will say we went out and celebrated last night, so I'm a little off my rocker, but I'm feeling really great. We were sitting at dinner and Mary Catherine's like, what's going on with you? I was like, I don't know. I think I'm happy.
That's nice to hear. I know that from the last time we spoke, I don't think I left enough time after each of my questions or your answers for your wit, and so it's nice to see after watching the show that it's a much sort of more muted version that Sam is not Bridget. You're not exactly the same person.
Right. We're different people. She's better than me.
I don't know about that, but what do you find that you relate to most about her?
I relate to the struggles with grief and the love of music. Like I feel like those are our best kind of parallels, but and also how hard it is to grow at this stage in life. Well, really for me always, but for Sam, I just relate to her kind of inch by inch growth.
I like that. And I think one of the most compelling things of this season is the sort of medical trajectory of Mary Jo, because I think she's a character who both of her daughters don't feel particularly like she's ever been so loving towards them. And her decline is one that is, like so much on the show, filled with humor, but also sort of a depressing side to it. How do you engage with all of that?
Well, I think that like a lot of me and my friends are kind of at that stage of life where our parents are getting older and how challenging that is, like whether you're close to them or whether you're not close to them, and sort of, like one day your parent is like older and then they're elderly, and how that all that comes along with that. But in my family, the way that we dealt with it with my mom was through a lot of humor and just kind of, yeah, it's just the way that my family deals with stuff. And a lot of my friends that are Midwestern are the same kind of way. My friends in New York are a lot more touchy feely and how you doing and all that. And when I'm with my family, we're just like cracking jokes and trying to get through it. So Sam's does a little bit of both.
I did appreciate that there was that Kansas joke that she made in the car. Do you think that does this show have a special appeal for people from Kansas or from the Midwest that
I
just the
do.
rest of us don't quite get?
I think so because I was just in Kansas for the weekend. My friend threw this watch party for the final two episodes, and I got to stand in front of 400 people from my hometown and whoever else came in, and let them know that I was really concerned about getting Kansas right, and the way that they applauded and through the conversations of the evening, I feel like we did, and that is really meaningful to me and really important. So it's almost the best feeling of everything, really, to not let them down.
Was there any constructive criticism? Is there anything we should know about Kansas that you did get wrong?
Uh, well, some of them are pissed off that I wear a KU shirt sometimes, like instead of a K State. But I'm like, Sam lived in Lawrence. That's just what happens. You get the old sweatshirt. It's comfortable. You wear it. And I also think that it shows that she's an outsider. But I'm like, no, you're right. You're right. We should lose it. I just, sort of like nod and go on my way. But we're gonna do what we got to do.
Was that your first time seeing the show with a big crowd like that?
We saw the season finale of season one because we didn't get a premiere of COVID. We did a thing in LA. We're all sitting outside, but it's LA. It's a different feel when you're watching it in the town. I'm like bicycling past local landmarks, and the business owners are in the theater, and everyone's like freaking out. The K State fight song comes on like three times over the course of the last two episodes, and I think it makes it special for everyone there.
Is there anything at either of those screenings that people responded to that you just didn't expect at all?
Yeah, I mean, kind of a lot of it, just all of it. Like there were things that people were laughing at that I've seen the show so many times because I've been in the editing room and whatnot. But like sometimes people just laugh at things. You're like, really? That's funny. I mean, I think it's a little funny, not that funny, but um, I think there's also it's just like when you get in a room with a bunch of people and how much it's like more fun when you go to the movie theater than when you watch it on your couch. So it was. exciting. But mostly I sit at home and I watch episodes by myself because I don't want to see people like not enjoying it or whatever. That would hurt my feelings. So I just watch it at home alone.
Another part of the season that I really enjoyed was the addition of Tim as Brad and that whole
Oh yeah.
relationship. And it's funny because I think he's an actor. I've been watching Will and Grace, a lot of other shows, over the years, but it's sort of you don't really know what to make of him, and that's part of what makes it such a delight because
Yeah.
he's actually a really nice guy, but at first he's a punching bag. What was it like working with him?
Well, Carolyn Strauss and I are both friends with Tim, and we adore him. And wrote this part. We all wrote this part for him because it's close to like the real Tim Bagley. Like he's kind of has a world of wonder way of talking, like the worlds of Wonderland. And he's so sweet and so Midwestern. Loves talking about his mom and all that. And I think that having him, I don't know. I just like when he comes on the stage and for the introduction to his character made me laugh so hard every time he did it. I think he's so special. And with the loss of Mike Hagerty, we were really worried about kind of losing a lot of the heart of the show, and Tim provides some of that too. He's warm and wonderful and funny. So it's not a replacement for Mike, but it's nice to have him there to provide a little bit of that feel.
We've spoken before about how, the sort of tribute to Mike in the first episode with Sam's breakdown is really very emotional. And you had also mentioned that you had big plans for Mike in this season. What was it that he was originally, are you comfortable sharing what he was originally supposed to
Well,
be
yeah,
doing?
it was a lot to do with like with Mary Jo, the mom, like just like sort of having to his way of handling that and like how that affects his life and his marriage and his farm and all those things. And we just sort of had to restructure a lot of that. Paul and Hannah, like when Mike died, I was just so sort of I just immediately like shut down and we were heading into pre-production and luckily they were able to sort of sit and be like, okay, we can keep this, we can keep that, and here's what we need to work on. And we have 2 weeks to do it or 3 weeks to do it. And we just got to work and figured it out. But yeah, Mike, in season one, there's a scene with Sam and Ed where they're in the barn and he talks about, she's like, you got to take mom to rehab. And he's just so wonderful in that he had such heart. And I think in the way that like, he's always been a character actor. And I think he's so good in this. He was so good in this show um, that we wanted to really lean into that because we thought he was so special and the relationship with him and Sam was so important. But life knocks you knocks you down every once in a while. You just got to go with Plan B. So
I think some of his sweetness is definitely preserved in Fred and that whole marriage plot line, which you keep waiting for something. I think watching just every other show in the world, waiting for something bad to happen or he took so long to introduce her. All what's going on here, and there's just nothing. It's just happiness, and that's just so wonderful to see.
yeah, I thought that too. I was like, should, should we have like done some sort of you know we could have had some sort of plot point, but I just feel like whenever we try to get too plotty on this show, it kind of takes you away from what does work about the show best, in my opinion, which is the connection between the characters and the people, and those are my favorite parts. So, and I'm the top of the call sheet, so I think we all push for that. That's what we like, so that's what we're doing.
Well, in terms of, Sam and Joel not, having a bit of a rift, I'd say that's a bit plotty, but in a good way that,
Yeah.
they don't get along and it's sort of uncomfortable to watch. But I think we hopefully know that everything's going to work out in the end, even if for a while it looks sort of iffy.
Yeah, well, I think it's important. They're so wrapped up in each other, and I think Sam would stay that way forever. But that's not healthy. They're sort of they're just so codependent, like to the exclusion of other people. And I think that Joel has a larger capacity to love. Like he can love more than one person at one time, and Sam kind of can't do that. So I think it was important to see them kind of have to establish, some not refooting. I got, I'm not, they just had to reestablish to find how they can exist together without just only having each other. and that's sometimes going to get a little messy, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, and I think the same is true with her relationship with Trisha. And I think one of the funnier parts of the show was that whole, her new business and Sam's quick-witted motto, expressions that she came up with. Were a lot of those just on the page, or did you just, sort of freewheel and just spit a bunch of them out?
Well, I did sort of spit out "new cunt who dis." That was one of my favorite. And "princess cunt," which is like we lived together and I used to call her princess. I mean, there's a lot of them I just sort of whipped out because I like that word and I like to say it. And there's like a whole little like twat, I can't hear you. My dictator said I have an ear infection. That's like something that my mom and I used to say to each other. I used to say it to her and really make her laugh. So like a lot of that stuff is not in the script, but it was just kind of fun to just put it in there.
Are you
You can only put so
considering
many. You can only put the word "cunt" in the script so many times without somebody being like, "It's too much cunt," and then, but once you say it, you realize like, it's just enough cunt.
we'll see how YouTube feels? We already have it in this interview quite a few times now, which is great.
Okay, bleep bleep.
Are you considering a, real world, business merchandising tie-in line to promote this low profile show?
No, I mean I have a ring that says "cunt" that I got from Snash Jewelry, and that's about as far as I'm going to go. Maybe for season 3, I'll get myself a cunt necklace. That'd be nice, but I'll leave that to who's got the time and who's got the craft and abilities. I can't do anything like that.
Well, is there anything already mapped out or some idea of what you want to try to do with season three?
Oh yeah, we wrote the whole thing because the strike was happening, and we just wanted to have it done. So we've turned in all our scripts, and once the strike is over, now that we have a green light, I'm sure we'll want to make some tweaks. But we basically know where we're going.
Well, I hope nobody who hasn't seen the show has made it this far to the interview and just ruined all of season two. I do think it's a great way to get new people involved, because it's not much of a commitment, and there are so many shows now that you really have to sit down for these hour-long plus episodes, and it's nice to have, as you say, a little burst that it's there, and then unfortunately it's
Oh,
gone before it comes
poof.
back for more. Well, is there anything else that you're working on in the meantime ahead of season three?
No, just kind of now that they announced that it's happening, I feel like I can breathe now. And I'm just gonna spend a little time with my pup and look in each other's eyes and keep doing those trust falls, and that's it. just try
Awesome.
to just try to enjoy the summer, and I'm trying to I get nice emails about the show, and I'm just really trying to enjoy them and trying to you know that's it.
I think that's great. I wish you a wonderful and uplifting summer.
Thank you, Abe. Same to you. Let's live the dream. Talk soon.